absolute cinema. Hopefully everybody here has already seen the Spider-Man Brand New Day movie. If not, spoiler warning, get off this video. But I really liked it. I think it was a great movie. It's the fourth installment of the Tom Holland Spider-Man series. And personally, I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man. And in this movie, I think he really shows, his acting range even more as a Spider-Man / Peter Parker that we really don't get to see from him often, but we're gonna break that down in this video. I have no major complaints about this movie really at all. I think what it was going for, it executed very well. And that's the emotional maturity of being Peter Parker, not just being Spider-Man, and the emotional negligence from Peter affecting his actual mutating powers. I thought it was very clever. It's a perfect tie between you can't just be Spider-Man physically, you have to be there mentally to be Spider-Man correctly. I thought that was done perfectly well. I loved seeing Peter go through the emotions of seeing Ned and MJ again, and it really driving him insane. He can't move past his past life because there's still something there. Ned is still his best friend even after 5 years. MJ is still the love of his life even after 5 years. I'm assuming 5 years is the time lapse. I don't remember. But yeah, even after all of that time, it's still affecting him, even as an adult. And now it's getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand. And I think that was a great thing to focus on for Peter Parker, right? First of all, this movie is also very boots to the ground. Obviously Peter still has some of his technology to help him out, but it is no Iron Boy Jr. like a lot of the Tom Holland Spider-Man complainers talked about. There's no really major tech influence besides his mutation inhibitor, which is probably the only big tech that's involved. But this is a very Spider-Man swinging webs. I actually do have a complaint. I'm still not a fan of Tom Holland swinging. I think this movie I think the Tom Holland movies, they don't want to focus on the swinging aspect of Spider-Man, which is perfectly fine. I just think we were spoiled that with Andrew, right? And by the way, I don't like his movies at all. But the Amazing Spider-Man swinging, it's so much more, he looks more agile, And when he swings, the wind is pushing against his body. I just think they haven't been able to match that. And I was hoping this movie would, but it's just more kind of mediocre swinging, I would say. But that's okay. That's just a little nitpick for me, not a big influence on the movie. I just wanted to see better swinging. The hand was great too. It was fantastic seeing them in that fight scene at the end with Spider-Man and the whole DOJ thing. I think it was a little on the nose. I feel like most of us movie watchers now, especially as adults, we're kind of like watching and seeing something and we're like, we kind of know it's about to happen. But, it's a good kind of predictable. It did what it needed to do to show Spider-Man's capabilities, especially without the Stark suit. It was just straight hands. And speaking of Tom Holland, yo, he's jacked. He got big for this role. He looked so swole, man. Like, I was like, holy shit, is that Tom? I thought it was a stunt double at some time, man. Like, what? It's Tom's face though. So I'm just, wow, yeah. He really put on some muscle for this movie. And I think that was a good choice, especially going from where he started to show that this is really adult Peter. Adult Peter eventually fills in that suit. He does get bigger and stronger and faster. So it was really great seeing Peter get all of his heightened abilities, heightened reaction speed, heightened pretty much everything, power. His webs were stronger, seeing him fling across. That was pretty cool, which is why I thought, right? Okay, he's got stronger webs. Sorry, I had to refocus. Yeah, he's got stronger webs. I assumed, his body's gonna flail a lot more when he's swinging, but it still wasn't really like that. They still didn't really highlight on the agility of Spider-Man, which is perfectly fine. I think towards the end, we get to see his agility. ironically, when he jokes around stretching and doing the yoga at the fight scene at the end, that's pretty much when we get to see how agile the Spider-Man is. But again, just a little small nitpick from me. I think this movie was fantastic with the fight scenes. Man, Bruce Banner, Hulk, fantastic. Loved his use in this movie. Just him kind of picking up on the small details of who he's talking to, right? Realizing that you're talking about a universal inhibitor. Who are you? You know what I mean? Like, you're not one of my students. And then him remembering that later when Peter gave him a universal inhibitor. You can just see the look in his face like, I remember you. And it's just small details like that I appreciated the movies. But yeah, Bruce was great in this. He's like this veteran Avenger, essentially, to everyone. And he's perfected this inhibitor that limits the gamma radiation that could go, out of his system. So even if he gets mad, happy, sad, he's not hulking out, which is great, right? And it pays dividends later when Jeangrey takes over him. We haven't even gotten into Jeangrey, but I loved when she took over him and he was smart Hulk, right? Which is what Bruce worked towards. But then when Bruce hulks out on his own, he's the vicious. He's the Hulk that we knew. I was cheesing the entire movie looking at that Hulk. I was smiling right next to my girlfriend. I was looking at her, I was like, ugh. I was hulking out right next to her because I was like, dude, like, I was like, look, you don't understand. Like, look at him. He's huge. He's a Hulk, right? But yeah, it was fantastic. It was fantastic. But I did appreciate that small detail of them differentiating the smart Hulk, the smart Hulk, and this aggressive, out of control Hulk. Because Jean couldn't get that out of Bruce. That's something that Hulk is just tired of being locked into. Naturally happened. So that was a really cool detail. Yeah, Jeangrey, fantastic in this movie. I think Sadie Sink did a perfect job casting as this character because, man, I was emotionally invested in her relationship with her sister, and the small details of her, when they're jumping through people in the park and Jeangrey is looking at the kids, right? They're looking at the kids because she wants to jump into their body and wishes that she was playing with them. I like that small details of, they are orphans, and at the end of the day, they just, they were abandoned. They're missing the attention that they never got. And you're gonna see that throughout this movie a lot with Sadie Sink's Jeangrey, is that it's all about like kind of not attention seeking, but seeking out for someone to have sympathy towards them because the world doesn't, because they're mutants. And I really like that sentiment, you know what I mean? And the idea of her and Spider-Man relating and being the same, like for her, she can't process on why he's helping people like this when Peter is just doing what he thinks is right, even though sometimes, you're never gonna do the right thing. You're just trying to save the most people the best way you can. I like the dynamic between her and Peter. She was very evil in this movie, which is perfectly fine. She was morally gray. She's Jeangrey. But I do think there is a line. I wouldn't change anything that she did. I would not change anything about her character in the movie and, her taking over all these people. Putting the homeless man in traffic and getting ran over by that car, that was insane. That was kind of insane, right? Taking over MJ and playing with Peter's emotions with the woman he loves. And even Peter saying, you realize what you're doing is unforgivable, right? It's unforgivable. I do think, my biggest complaint in the movie was Peter forgiving her so fast. And yeah, he learned that, okay, they captured her sister. And okay, you're doing this for a reason. But she was putting multiple people in danger and saw them as collateral damage. I don't really see Peter Parker forgiving that too fast. You know what I mean? I do see him sympathizing with her and wanting to help, but I think Spider-Man at the end still would have probably had her like sent to jail, or not saying she shouldn't, like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I think maybe I just need more from their dynamic to really you know, allowed me to say, yeah, it makes sense Peter would let her in and let her bond with May. You know what I mean? He didn't even really get to see her and Sarah's relationship. Maybe if Peter raided an old room and saw the family pictures of them, or read like case files, but it was just kind of, you know, like, oh wait, he lied to me. This is somewhat important, you know? And I think, actually, I'm not remembering the movie right. Maybe he did find a case file, but I think I would have liked him to find something more sentimental, is basically what I'm saying. I think she was kind of a little overboard in this movie. Not saying they should have dialed it back. With the X-Men mutants, you literally can't dial it back with them. But I would have seen more of a actual relatability between them. I think that's really the only complaint I have with the Jean Grey situation. But no, yeah, I think she did great in this movie. I think that was a great antagonist to have for a majority of the movie. And the DOJ, I don't remember. This is fresh off the movie. That was a little kind of on the nose, but I think it was a good, predictable. It did what it needed to do. You know, we got to see Spider-Man emotionally struggle and it affect his Spider-Man abilities. Oh, I really like the scene of him and MJ talking, you know, when they see the Punisher. I didn't even talk about the Punisher, but the scene where, you know, she tells him, I mean, you seem like a good guy to me. Maybe you're just changing, you know? And so now Peter is really starting to understand, maybe I do have to accept this emotional weight, but he didn't know how to deal with it, you know, besides suppressing it. And so I'm curious on where he goes from here. He did tell Ned who he was at the end. Obviously, MJ knows who he is. Maybe Jean Grey taking over MJ possibly restored her memories, because she was on the roof at the end. I think holding a ring that Peter gave her, you know, maybe her memories are starting to come back, possibly. That'd be pretty interesting. It wouldn't be like unbelievable to think about, you know, with what Jean Grey could do. But yeah, that's possibly something they're doing, I noticed. But yeah, I did really like the MJ Peter interactions. Man, taking over MJ's body was definitely that got me. I didn't call it. My buddy called it, who we're at the theater with. They called it. I couldn't tell, because I was like, why did she kiss Peter? Like that's what confused me. Why did she kiss Peter? My buddy caught it when they saw, you know, him and MJ swinging. MJ's usually flailing around and kind of screaming, especially at the beginning. She wasn't this time. My buddy caught that, and that was a good ass catch, because I did not catch that. I caught it when they kissed. I was like, what? That's not right. But yeah, I thought this was a great movie. Punisher, I saw there was a lot of 50-50 online on this Punisher. Guys, whether this is the Punisher from the Daredevil series or not, the fact of the matter is, you know, this is the Punisher that's with Spider-Man. All right, this is the Punisher that has a Spider-Man. He has a kid that's keeping him, you know, morally in check. You know, don't do things your way, please. No killing. Just help me, you know, the best way you can. Don't kill. You know, he has a Spider-Man. I don't think it's far-fetched to say that this Punisher is the same as the Punisher from his series. I think this is just a PG version, but he's with Spider-Man. Spider-Man is a PG here. He's with Spider-Man. Why wouldn't he tone it down? Who knows the time period of this between the shows? It's clearly after the series, I'm positive. But yeah, whether this is the Punisher from Daredevil or not, I think they did a great job, you know. And I mean, come on, he literally was about to snipe Jean Grey. He was about to kill that little girl, and Peter stepped in the way. This is the Punisher we know. You know, he just didn't curse a lot, and you know, there wasn't that much gore, because this is a Punisher who kind of is at the end, and he's just like wants to live peacefully, you know. And he has Spider-Man in his life. That Punisher did not have Spider-Man in their life, so I think this Punisher was great. I think it was a good on-screen version of him. For anyone who wants to go watch the Punisher after this, it is not that guy who you saw in the movie, so just be prepared. I told my girlfriend, yeah, I'm not gonna show you the show. I don't think you're gonna. But yeah, I think everything was really well done in this movie. The pacing was pretty quick. It was pretty quick, maybe too quick, but that's just because I wanted more of the Spider-Man movie. I definitely give this movie a 8.5 out of 10. I think the biggest thing it was missing was more of an emotional attachment between Peter and Jean Grey. I would have liked that. I understand they can relate by being mutants and having no one, but you know, I think Peter at the end realizing he does have people. It's the people of New York, the people who love him. I think Tim realized that was kind of cool, but I feel like he should have already known that by now. But you never know. You know what I mean? You never know sometimes. Especially with fans, they could turn on you real quick. They could. I know what he was really yearning for, but at the end of the movie, he accepted that he already had it. So at the end of the day, him and Jean really didn't relate. I just wanted more of that relation between them. So, I mean, y'all let me know if I'm tripping. You know, let me know if there's something I didn't speak about, or if you disagree or agree with me. I'm very curious. I feel like there's so much I missed, but this is right after the movie. You know, this is right after the movie. And I really like seeing the new Black Widow. She was hilarious in this movie, having a big potato. This is small potato stuff. We're in big potato. It was very clever. It was very clever, and a nice tie-in, you know, of adding Spider-Man with the Avengers. So that was nice. But that's pretty much all I got for today. Great movie. I have to really go rewatch it. I think it was good enough to rewatch it, and I think it's the second best movie in the installment. So yeah, let me know what you guys think now.